everyone, and welcome to this tutorial in which we'll make this graphic design using the pixel sorting technique. Okay, so let's get into it. As you see, I've opened the image with which I'm going to work. It's a bust of which you can find a reference in the attached information. The first thing we'll do is to select our figure. We can do this using any selection method, but I'll use the quick selection tool. I'll make sure that I have the Add to Selection option, which is the one right here, and I'm going to click in different background parts until all of it is selected. I'm not too worried that the bottom part is not selected right through the edge, because I think this shadow could actually look good. Once the selection looks good to me, I'm going to invert it using the Select menu Inverse. And I'm going to refine the selection border using the Select and Mask option. I'm going to set the view mode on white and turn out the opacity to the max. This way I can see better how my selection works. In order to improve this shadow down here, I'm going to use the Refine Edge Brush tool on it. It looks much better now. Now I'm going to raise the feather to 2 in order for the sculpture to blend in better into the new background I'll use. And on this drop-down menu, I'm going to set it to output the results on a new layer. I'm going to name this layer Main. Okay, so now that we have cut out our figure, I'm going to set a background. I'll do this by creating a solid color fill layer, and I'll set the color to FFF96E. Now it's time to prepare the image to apply pixel sorting. We'll do this in a new layer, so we'll duplicate our image using the shortcut ctrl-J. Then we go to Image, Image Size, and after making sure we have this box checked, we're going to lower the resolution to 150. We do this because the filter that creates the effect we want gives back different results depending on the size and quality of the image. And I did some tests before, and this is the resolution with which I like the results better. Next on our list will be improving the image contrast so the effect looks more interesting and not too flat. For this, we create a levels adjustment layer and tweak the parameters. When we're done, we combine the adjustment layer with the one below it using Ctrl-E, and the layer is ready for us to apply the filter. I'm going to rename it and call it Effect. Since we want the effect to be downwards, we're going to rotate the image. We can do this navigating to the Image menu, Image Rotation, and we choose 90 degrees counterclockwise. Okay, it's time now to apply the effect. We go to Filter, Stylize, Wind. We're going to select this last option and we'll set the direction from the left and click OK. We repeat the process several times using Ctrl+Alt+F until we think it's enough. I like it like this. I applied the effect 4 more times. Now I can rotate the image again, going to Image, Image Rotation, and in this case I'll rotate it 90 degrees clockwise. In order to boost a bit more the contrast, I use the Burn tool and selecting in this drop-down menu the option Shadows and setting exposure to 4%, I'm going to apply it in the darkest parts in order to create more contrast. Okay, it looks good like this. Now, since I want the effect to be visible only in some parts of the statue, I'm going to mask it. And then, using ctrl-I, I'll inverse it in order to hide everything. And now I'll select the brush tool in order to paint white zones in which I want the effect to appear. I'm going to select a basic brush with 0% hardness, and making sure that the mask is selected, I start painting white. If at any moment I make a mistake and paint a part that I didn't want to, I only have to switch to black color and paint it black again. Okay, so I like how it looks. I'm going to select both layers and I'm going to group them in a folder by pressing Ctrl+G, which I'll name Figure. Now let's go on to the final touches and the details. We're going to start by adjusting the document size with the crop tool. I'm going to put some color touches to the sculpture. For this, I'll create a new layer over our folder, and while pressing the Alt key, I place the mouse over the bottom edge of the layer until I see this icon, and then I click. With this, what I'll achieve is that anything I paint on this layer only affects my figure and not the background. I'm going to switch the blending mode of the layer to hue. And now I'm going to select the brush tool, lower opacity to 30%, and pick a purple color. I'll specifically pick the color 9848E2. And I'll paint some parts of my sculpture. To finish, I'll add some text to my image. I'll do this using the horizontal type tool. I choose a typography to my taste and adjust the size appropriately. I'll set the color to a lighter purple, which will be the B87DAE. Since I want the letters to be more chaotic, I'll transform them one by one. For this, first I rasterize the layer by right-clicking and selecting Rasterize Type. And now I split the letters in different layers. For this, I'll select the letter with the lasso tool, and I'll use the keyboard shortcut Ctrl-Shift-J. With this, I'll cut the selected part and paste it in a new layer automatically. I'll do this with all the letters. Now, if I select the Move tool and I make sure that the Auto Select layer and the Show Transform Controls options are on, I can start modifying each letter until I like the results. To finish, I'll group all the letters in a folder using Ctrl+G, which I'll name SoPunk. And selecting the Group option from the drop-down menu, I'm going to rearrange everything to my taste and readjust the canvas size if I need to. Alright, so that's all. I hope you liked this tutorial and I'll see you in the next one.